This podcast is for informational purposes only and does not dispense medical advice. Always seek the advice of a physician or other qualified health providers if you have any questions regarding a medical condition. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking such advice because of something you have heard on this podcast. Welcome to a show that we like to call Prostate Cancer Real Talk. Did you know that in the U.S., 1 out of every 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer during his lifetime? 1 out of 8. And black men are 50% more likely to develop prostate cancer in their lifetime and twice as likely to die from the disease. But hey, we're not here to quote statistics and tell you how tough prostate cancer can be. Rather, we are here to create a supportive community of survivors. A place where we can discuss the real-life coping methods from the perspective of a married couple who are living through it day by day. Our hosts, Elle and Shay. This is Prostate Cancer Real Talk. Today we welcome LaShawn Ford. LaShawn Ford is a member of the Illinois House of Representatives representing the 8th District since 2007. He holds a BS in education from Loyola University in Chicago, and Representative Ford has an esteemed record in politics, including as a candidate for mayor of Chicago in the 2019 election. Representative Ford is also a real estate entrepreneur and founder of the Ford Desired Realty, Inc. He's a former history teacher and basketball coach for Chicago Public Schools and a licensed real estate broker. He's also a member of the Chicago and National Association of Realtors and is a board member of several community organization boards within and outside of his political district. Elle and Shay are excited to welcome Illinois State Representative LaShawn Ford.
Thank you very much for that great introduction, Dennis. And welcome to our podcast, Representative Ford. We're very excited to have the opportunity to meet with you today. So, Representative Ford, we happened to meet you on a television interview that we actually both did for Northwestern Hospital. You had a press conference. And at this press conference, the governor of the state of Illinois was there, J.B. Pritzker, as well as your doctors and other representatives and members of your family, I do believe. So why don't you tell us your story about your experience with prostate cancer and how we're going to examine that experience today on our podcast?
Yeah, so thank you, Dennis, for the introduction. And it's such an honor to be on with Elle and Shay. And it's great that you all have decided to raise the awareness about a disease that many have died from during a time where, it doesn't have to be a death sentence. And I'm a living witness to that. And I know, Elle, you are too. To have early detection is really the difference between a cure of prostate cancer or a death from prostate cancer. And I was so fortunate to have a family and a mother that always encouraged us to get regular checkups and annual visits to the doctor. And, this year, or in year 2020, I thought that it was going to be important that I get a colonoscopy and my PSA because it getting to be older, I felt like it's time for me to look at those, have those exams that older gentlemen have, and so going to ask for my PSA exam from the primary, as a African-American, it's believed that African Americans should be tested as early as 40 for prostate health. But doctors sometimes subscribe to prostate screenings for men when they're 50 and 55. But it was the intuition and God's will that I got a prostate screening at 48. And the PSA is what determined a high PSA level, which led to a physical exam, which led to a MRI, which ultimately led to the biopsy, which was the final determination that prostate cancer was progressive in my body. And so at Northwestern Memorial Hospital during the pandemic, they did the surgery. Got diagnosed in October. We had the surgery in January because it was aggressive. And the doctor felt that they had to move rather fast to remove the entire prostate so that it did not metastasize throughout the body. And that's what I mean by early detection. When you catch it early, it does not metastasize and it doesn't attack other organs, bones, or the other parts of the body.
You're not an older man, okay? I know that a lot of people think that prostate cancer is, quote, an old man's disease. As a matter of fact, you weren't even to the age where most doctors would be testing for PSA. What led you to request the PSA? Because I remember from your story, your primary physician was not initially in favor of you getting a PSA because of your age. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, El, you're right. And the primary physician will study what the science says. The science says that, you really don't need a prostate screening until you're 50 or 55. But believe it or not, that's the science for the majority of the population, for white males. It's really not the science that dictates Black health. And we need to make sure that the medical community have a better understanding of Black health, because I believe that the difference between white men dying and Black men die 2 times the rate of white men. And it's believed I believe, and studies show, because we have a later detection. And after we get the screening, then it's metastasized. So I think it's important that Black men and all men understand that it's your life and you should get a prostate health report.
Okay, honey, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but in addition to my husband not looking what he's been through, looking like what he's been through, Representative Ford does not look like what he's been through. If you saw these 2 handsome Black men walking down the street of Chicago or any street, you wouldn't think that they are prostate cancer survivors. So Representative Ford, if I may ask, when you found out and you got the diagnosis, who were the first people that you told? Did you decide oh my God, I'm gonna keep this secret, I don't want to share this with anyone? Or what was your first thoughts and who did you tell initially?
Yeah, Shay. So, one, my idea was get the diagnosis, then talk to people. While going through all of the procedures, I didn't tell anyone that I was possibly threatening a diagnosis of cancer. When I got the diagnosis, my biopsy back, I told only 3 people in my life. I told my daughter, who's 17, I told my daughter's mother, and I told my mother. Those were only 3 people that I told that I had the cancer diagnosis. No one else would have known, because you don't have cancer on your forehead, and there's no way anybody would know. And there's no way I would have known if I didn't go to the doctor and ask for a prostate screening to find out my prostate health. So no, Shay, I didn't tell anyone, because my idea was not to talk about that I had cancer. It was to tell people that I was a cancer survivor. And that's what the story ended up being.
Yes, yeah. And so is that how you came with the press conference at Northwestern? They wanted, because I know with Elle, they wanted success stories, a guy that had experienced it and was on the other side and basically had, have gone back and it was not detectable. So is that pretty much how your story was for Northwestern, for the press conference?
Yeah, Shay. So what we had, we had not planned to right away from the diagnosis to say, we're going to do a press conference. The goal was, once I got over the surgery and went back to my first appointment, then I started saying, this is once the doctor It gave me the results of the surgery and said that things look good. Then I started thinking, this is great.
Yes.
Maybe I could share this with people. And so we then decided to talk about a strategy. And so Dr. Schaefer at Northwestern Memorial Hospital, we talked about how would be the best way to do it. And we said, let's get our first reading back of the PSA to make sure that you're cancer-free, regardless to what the outcomes we thought were, the prognosis were from the surgery. We said, let's see what that is. And so we waited till we got that first PSA result back in, I think we had the surgery in January. We got the first report back in February or March. Then I think we waited a little while, and then we announced that we were cancer-free. That was the goal, as you said, Shay, to have not the story of cancer, but to show what early detection does. It cures you from cancer. And that's the message that we want people to know, that early detection means cancer-free.
So I have a question for you, Representative Ford. It's not common. I'm sure the governor of Illinois doesn't just show up at everybody's hospital bed or at everybody's press conference. How is it that the governor, Pritzker, decided to attend your press conference? What kind of support did you get from him and your peers in the government at the state of Illinois?
Oh, my goodness. It was amazing that because I didn't tell, so just so you know, as I said, I didn't tell anyone that I had a diagnosis or that I had I got my diagnosis back that I was cancer-free. So no one knew, but the governor at this point, I let him in and told him that this was happening and I need to make sure that we do everything to get the message out to as many people in Illinois, because what I've learned is you don't have to die of prostate cancer. And I would like for you to stand with me and the doctors to get the message out there. Early detection saves lives. And he was all in. And since then, he's also issued a grant for people nonprofits that are promoting prostate health and awareness to apply for it through the Department of Public Health. So if this program is a non-for-profit, I have to make sure you get that link so that you can apply for that grant. And so since then, he's been truly a good friend to me and pushing awareness out for prostate cancer screenings.
Great.
And the Speaker of the House, I should say, he was there. Chris Welch, he came. And so that was absolutely great. And people did not know in the General Assembly that I had prostate cancer until they did not know that I was a prostate cancer survivor until the announcement with the governor. So I was going to Springfield with a bag on my leg and going through a lot of things that people just did not know that I was going through at the time, because it wasn't important. What was important was to get through it and get on the other side and be cancer-free.
So I'm just going to really dig into one of the things that you said when you said a bag on your leg, and that goes back to some of the discussions we've had earlier on the show, and that is when you come out of the prostate cancer surgery, you're wearing a catheter which collects urine. Not to get too graphic here, but it collects your urine. When you initially come out, it's a bag that you have on your side pretty much. You're kind of restricted to the house with that. That's a larger collection device. And then when you graduate, you get a device that you can put on your ankle. You collect the urine there. So that makes you a little bit more mobile, and people don't know it. And so, you can go around and do things and sort of live a normal life. I do have a question for you, sir. When you mentioned you told your mother and your daughter's mother and your daughter, what kind of reaction did you get from them?
My mother is 83.
Oh, great.
And she's a cancer survivor, and she had ovarian cancer. So, she's like a pro at poker. And she doesn't play any cards, but she's a pro at poker. So immediately she was strong and she gave me the support that I needed to not worry, which is very important. That's why you got to be very, very careful about people that you tell, in my opinion, because you need positive people to support you. And my daughter and her mom, it was a reaction because the word cancer is not easy to hear. And so they're younger than the 83-year-old lady that has experience and deeply faith driven and understand the power of the Lord more than all of us. So right away here they're thinking, oh my God, cancer means death. And so as we talked and we went through the process, they learned that early detection is what made the difference. So I didn't want to tell too many people, Elle and Shay, because what was important was I didn't really want people calling, feeling sorry.
Yes.
And always saying, I'm sorry to hear you have cancer. I didn't really need that. And you know what? The 3 people that I told, they were the best people that I told. And I think I made the right decision. The people were very disappointed with me because I didn't tell them. Even my closest aunt and my closest aunts and sisters, they were disappointed because, of course, they wanted to be there for me. And I didn't allow them that. But, I said, what's more important, for me to tell you now that I'm cancer free or for you to have known that I had cancer? And that helped out.
Yes. Okay. In your intro, it said you were a basketball coach, which I'm assuming at some point you probably played basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I did. I played basketball and athletic. I did lots of different sports, box,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And Elle was a former captain of his college football team. So you guys are in essence jocks. So having been diagnosed and survivors of prostate cancer and having the surgery, the actual, your prostate removed, did it make you feel less than a man? Because that's what we hear some guys in their decision-making process, well, I don't know if I want to have the surgery. I don't want to know if I want to get my prostate taken out because they, especially Black men, they feel like that's a part of their manhood. Like, they're going to be less of a man if they go through the surgery.
Shay, that is a fantastic question. And I think that is, when men think that way, they're making a choice of life and death. I mean, you don't have to have your prostate removed. You can have the prostate remain and live with it and recognize that you're going to have a shorter life.
Yes. And
so it's a matter of how much you value life. And God has given us this technology, this science, this medicine to allow us to detect prostate cancer early so that you don't have to have a shorter life. And I think that if more men knew about early detection and they knew how serious prostate cancer is, I think they will be ready to take the test. I don't think men avoid removing the prostate when they know they have prostate cancer. It's men that don't know that they have prostate cancer that's too late. But if we could get men to be screened, just going to the doctor and have a relationship with a doctor, I think we're going to save more lives. So I think men are smart enough to know now if they hear of survival of a person that had early detection, to be screened. I think it's the men that don't know that they should be screened for prostate. It's men that mix up prostate cancer with colon cancer. I had my prostate exam, but what they really had was a colonoscopy.
Yes.
So, and I don't want to mix that, but they should know that you have to have both. And I've had people say, yeah, I had that. I said, well, what was your number? They didn't give me a number. They just said that I didn't have it. I said, well, how did they do it? And they tell me, and I said, well, you did not have it. And so I think that some men are trying to do the right thing, and some men don't have a health care provider to help them do the right thing. So it's a multitude of reasons why men are not being tested for prostate cancer. And what they have to do, every man that hears this should have a medical home so they could start having a relationship with a doctor so that they know their prostate health.
I want to ask you if you shared the same experience that I did. Once I started talking to people about the fact that I had prostate cancer, had surgery, and that I was clear. Okay, my PSA levels were, as you mentioned, undetectable. That's a word that I've learned to appreciate. As a matter of fact, just recently, this past Monday, I went and had another blood test for something else. It's routine, but they checked my PSA level as well, and I was notified that my PSA levels were undetectable. So I've really come to love that word. But I wanted to ask you, what I found is that once I started talking to people about this, man, there were all kinds of guys that I knew that had already had a prostate cancer experience. Either they had radiation or they had prostate removed and whatnot. Did you find that to be true? Did you learn of any other people that you knew that had prostate cancer once you started talking about the fact that you were a survivor of it?
Yeah, it's amazing. People actually, you find a new group of friends, a new reasons to talk about topics that you never knew. People are really trapped in their own world with this, and men, we need to talk more about it. Women will talk in a heartbeat about breast cancer, but we want to hide prostate cancer. We got to talk about it. Yes. And I know you have said it, Elle, people come to you. And because of you, Elle, I know people have gotten their prostate exams. And I know because of you, people have been diagnosed with cancer. And because of you, people have been cured of cancer because of your ability to share such a life-changing story with the public. So thank you for that. I mean, and I also say thank you to your wife for hanging in there during these challenging times, because it's hard for us to go through prostate cancer, just like it's hard for women to go through breast cancer.
So I was wondering also too, we've been at this for a while, talking and trying to educate men on why they should be tested, and that, it's not the end of the world if you do get a diagnosis and it's early, that there are, the surgery options, radiation, that there are different things they can do. But a little pushback that we get from, and primarily, Black men, because we're talking to more Black men than any other race. But a lot of the guys will say to us, they don't want to know if they have it, because they realize, and they've done a little research or listened to, episodes of our podcast, and they discover that it could alter your sex life. And men are they're not here. They're not for it. They're not here for it. They don't want to hear that. They're like, oh my God, well, I don't know if I want to get tested, if I have to give up, sex and I'm like, you're still here though. You know what I mean? So you would rather be able to have a couple more years of sex than perhaps to have 20 or 30 more years of life. So was that a determinant factor, or did you even think of that when you were making your decision to have the surgery?
Absolutely not. I mean, let me tell you,
yes.
You had a choice.
Yes.
You can have this surgery, and let's see, I had the surgery January of 2021. This is now almost October. I'm not suffering at all. Now, if I don't have that surgery right now, it would be metastasized,
yes.
And I would probably be on a cane.
Yes.
I would be, it would be in my back, in my bones, probably in my brain, and it would be a slow, painful death.
Yes.
What I went through, you don't give up your sex life. You actually become better.
Yeah.
So what you just have to do is understand that you have a new way of life.
Yes.
And you shouldn't be ignorant about, that's what kids would say.
Yes.
And men, you should, once a child, you got to give up those childish ways. And if you have nothing to live for, you should at least think about the people that love you. That's if nothing else, think about the people that love you, that you're going to put a burden on them to look at you sick, look at you dying when it was preventable. So many people would rather have the choice of being tested and cured than having the decision to allow for a disease to kill you that did not have to kill you.
Mm-hmm. So, Representative Ford, we're winding down. And so what we want to do before you leave is kind of give you an opportunity to talk to the men out here, being in a responsible public elected position that you're in. Please talk to your constituents here in the Chicago area, and also men across the country and actually in even some parts of the world. Please talk to them from your perspective on prostate cancer and what they need to do to make sure that they are taking the best care of themselves in order to get detected early and get early treatment if necessary.
Absolutely. And thank you, Elle, Shay, and Dennis, for this opportunity to share the message. I would say for people that are poor or uninsured, one, you could be insured. If you are an American citizen, you need to make sure you're enrolled in Medicaid so that you can see a doctor. If you are a migrant and you don't have health insurance, you need to go to a county facility and get a relationship with a doctor. That said, when you establish these relationships, you need to make sure that you as a man start talking about your prostate health. You could start talking about your prostate health at 30. You should just start knowing about your prostate health at 30. Prostate exams are very, very simple. It's blood work. In fact, I recently had my blood work, and I'm celebrating with Elle today as well. And my blood work came back, and I'm undetectable. And it's since the surgery. So I am cancer-free, all because of early detection. This could be anyone that has cancer in their body, but they have to know it. And so I would encourage everyone to have a medical home. And if you are a Black male, you probably should have your exams as early as 40. Now, if you want to get it done earlier, talk to your doctor. But the key is to make sure you have early detection, because early detection saves lives. If a doctor tells you at 40 that he doesn't want to do it, find another doctor and get your prostate exam done. Don't let anyone stop you from knowing your status as a male so that you can live as long as God wants you to live. And God wants you to live a long life, and he gives you your senses so that you can make the right choices. And the right choice is to know your status. Don't give up your life because you made the wrong decision. You won't regret it, and your family won't either. So thank you, Elle, Shay, for that. And I really appreciate all of you for allowing me on.
Thank you very much. We really, really appreciate your time. God bless you and your family and your 80-year-old mother and your 17-year-old daughter and all the rest of your family and your loved ones. Thank you so much. And we hope to have you back one day and keep on getting those undetectable results. I promise to keep producing mine as well.
All right.
Again, just like Elle said, thank you so much to the young, gifted, and Black Representative Ford. Thank you for being on with us. And Elle, his mom is 83. You know, you can't look. Yeah, they want their years. You can't take those years from them now. Thank you so much, Representative Ford.
Have a good one.
All right, you too. Thank you. Bye.
find out more information on the guest you just heard or previous guests and a list of Prostate Cancer Real Talk episodes, visit our website, prostatecancerrealtalk.com. And if you have a question, comment, or if you would like to share your story, send Elle and Shay an email, ellandshay@prostatecancerrealtalk.com. That's LEL and Shay, SHAY, at prostatecancerrealtalk.com.